Hello, I am James Bennett, the Head of Sales of Urkund Plagiarism Detection, and I'm here to talk to you about Urkund Plagiarism Detection, a bit of the background of the history of the company, and also how we can be used. Later on, my colleague Jonas Lundqvist, the Creative Director and one of the co-founders of the company, will be going through the technical side of the system. Urkund as a product began in 1999, created by a group of teachers who had noticed through the oncoming digitalization of schools that plagiarism was taking place in their students' work. Since then, it developed into a product and was launched onto the market in the year 2000. In 2005, the company was bought by PRIO-Info Center AB, who are the current owners of the system. PRIO-Info has invested heavily in the system and expanded Urkund's capabilities and market possibilities. Urkund has clients all over the world, as far north as Greenland, as far south and east as New Zealand, and as far west as the United States, with many clients in South America, all across continental Europe, as well as the United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland. Urkund as a system is completely based within the European Union, which means that all data that we receive, all data that we store, is stored within the European Union. All processes within the system are carried out within the European Union. Urkund has been found to be the most effective system in the latest 2 tests by the University of Applied Sciences in Berlin, a test that goes through all the plagiarism detection systems and compares the quality of them. When clients come to us from a different system, they come to us for 3 main reasons. The first reason tends to be stability. They want a system that is more stable. The second reason is support. They want a system that, should there be a problem, provides support to those when they need it. The third reason tends to be a choice of 3. It is through ease of use, it is through quality, or it is through price. Urkund takes care of its clients by giving each one an account manager, and we have a very effective customer success department to make sure that implementation and any other kinds of project management are done in the most effective way. Urkund can be used in 3 ways: via email, via direct upload, or through integrations with the leading learning management systems or virtual learning environments. These include Moodle, Blackboard, Canvas, Desire2Learn Brightspace, as well as many other systems. For systems which do not currently have an integration, integrations can be built in the space of about 2 weeks, and we provide extensive documentation to help this happen.
When becoming an Urkund client, you will have 3 tools or interfaces available to you. The first one is URSA, the Urkund Administration and Statistics tool. The second one is the analysis, which is basically the core of Urkund itself. And also, each teacher will have access to a personal web-based inbox for anything Urkund related in regards of reports or emails. I'm now going to present the URSA interface. The URSA interface is available through our website at urkund.com, where you'll also find a lot of questions answered and a lot of useful information about our different systems and the services we offer. To get to the URSA interface, you will need to log in. From here, you can choose either to log into the web-based inbox, which is on the left side of the screen, or one of the different URSA versions on the right side of the screen. We're going to look at the URSA Major version today. I went straight into this interface now because I was already logged in. If I hadn't been, I would have been forced to enter my username and password. These credentials are made available to the administrators of the university or school when the URSA interface is acquired. In this case, we have 1 unit available to us. It's the only university currently tied into this interface. If you have a multi-university setup, you could have all of them listed on the left. We have a menu button at the top, which will give us the options available to us in our use of URSA. Do note that this is the URSA Major interface. The URSA Minor interface will lack quite a few of the options available in this presentation. Let's start by clicking on the demonstration university that is available to us. Now we get into the gist of the URSA interface straight away. What we have here is the ability to not only see all the receivers that have accounts in Urkund, but also, if we dig a bit deeper, all the reports and documents submitted to each receiver. We will have statistics available to us. We will have the ability to invite new teachers to create user accounts and receivers. Or we'll have the ability to invite to create a user account, because not all university teachers might want to use Urkund or might need to use Urkund. It could be that you would like to invite them to, if the need arises, you can create your own account. There's a difference between these two, where this creates an analysis address which is ready to go from the start, and this creates an invitation to create a user account. It's a bit tricky, but you'll get into it. We also have organization levels. If you want to divide your teachers into groups for statistical purposes, you can set up organization levels, level 1 and level 2, for instance, faculty and department. And then you have the ability to change certain data in this properties field. When working with the receiver list, you can either use the search field or simply scroll to the person of interest and access it from there. For instance, if I want to take a look at my colleague Peter and the documents he has been receiving from his students, I can click on the receiver number and I will go right into his account setup. From here I can change a few things on behalf of him if he wants me to do so. I can make changes to whether or not he would like a newsletter, if you want the documents to be attached to the report emails. And I can also actually make changes to how the searches are made for his particular account. Should he go and change his name, I can change the name of the account and the personal email attached to it. I can even change the analysis address or account name as it's called here. I cannot change the part that is highlighted here. That is tied to the unit that is the client. I can change, however, the part before that. Should Peter leave us for some reason, move on to another position somewhere else at another university, I can delete his account by clicking here. This will not actually delete his account though. This will make it impossible for Peter to use, but all the reports and all the documents submitted to his account so far will still be accessible to me as an administrator. So there's actually never anything deleted from the system when it comes to receivers. They're just flagged as such. Should he come back from a hiatus or feel that the other university wasn't quite for him and wants to work with us again, I can simply reactivate his account, like thus. One of the features available for a receiver account is the ability to add something we call source filters. Source filters will take out certain websites if you don't want hits in them. Let's say, for instance, that you have instructed your students to go to cnn.com, find an interesting article there, and then write a review or report on that. Then you might not want the actual article to show up in any analysis report you gain from us. What you do is, you click the Change Source Filters, you click Add, and then simply type in the URL of the resource that you wish to omit. Like thus. Then you click Save. And from that point on, there will be no hits presented to Mr. Vitas when he looks at his analysis. This cannot be done retroactively though. You have to do this before the documents are actually submitted. If Peter should have had any documents submitted to him so far, we could go into his list of documents here, see them in consecutive order, and access the individual original document and the analysis report directly from here. This is quite useful in cases where we have administrators managing the Urkund use in the university, because they can go in, take a look at stuff through here instead of waiting for reports being sent to them via email or forwarded from other teachers and so forth. In this case, we're looking at what's called a receiver account. Peter has an analysis address to which he can receive documents, and he has a personal address attached to it to which he can receive reports via email. He cannot, however, at this point log into the web-based inbox because he has no Urkund user. There's a difference between the Urkund user and the Urkund receiver. Receivers work entirely via email and certain integrations, and if you're a user, you also have access to the personal web-based inbox. As an administrator, what I want to do here then is click this button, send a user account invitation to Peter. Click, and it's now been sent on to his personal email address. What happened there was that the system sent an invitation to Peter, and he clicked it and created his account. As you can see, the button Send Invitation has now changed into Send Credentials Reminder. If I click this, that will send a link to him, and that will allow him to change his password yet again. With this new credentials, Peter can log into his personal web-based inbox and access all his emails from Urkund through there. Back at the first page, we have the statistics button. And from here you can access 3 different kinds of statistics, and you can also export all your receivers into a CSV file should you require. Clicking on the statistics for receivers per month, we'll get an overview how the usage of Urkund in the university look like. Summing up, there are many options in the Ursa interface that you will find interesting. And now we're going to take a look at the analysis. For the analysis part of the demonstration, I'm back at the website. We actually have, if you scroll to the bottom of this page, a demo analysis available to anyone, even students. When I click this, it opens in a new web browser window. And this is the report that all the teachers are working with. In this case, we've sent through a test document with hits in a certain amount of sources, and all the details of the submission you can find in the top left box. You have the document name, which is clickable and will allow you to download the original file. We have the document number, which is handy when you contact support, should there be a problem with anything. We see when the document was submitted, we see who submitted it, name and email, and we see also who received it. Should the student have written anything in the body text of the email when they submitted the document, it will be available here. Looking at the message could be a good thing, because sometimes there is something in there that might actually have an impact on the review of the document. Let's say, for instance, that you have 3 versions and a final version. Perhaps the 3 versions are work documents, which won't be containing plagiarism per se, but material that could be revised and worked on further. But the final version, however, the one that should be graded, that one will have to be devoid of plagiarism. In the message, the student might have written that this is my second version, my second draft, or they could have written this is my final version, please grade it. Lastly, we have the significance percentage. This will tell you how similar this document is to the sources we've found when checking it. Please note though that this percentage is in no way or form evidence of plagiarism. This will show you similarity only. And this is important because if you act on this without actually going through the sources and the hits, there might be trouble. Moving over to the right side of the screen, we have the sources. At the top, we have the primary sources. Those are the ones represented by a blue box. These sources are the ones that have been found important enough to present in the analysis straight up when you open it. We also have sources which are alternative. And an alternative source will overlap a primary source, but to a lesser extent. And we have the sources not used, which are the sources that's been found in our searches on a conceptual basis. For instance, they share similar keywords, they share similar topics, or they share anything else that would be similar but not really important. They are there, so you can visit them yourself should you want to. We can expand a source and see all the hits that have been made against the student documents from this particular source. If I click on a highlight, I'm taken straight there in the student side of the analysis. And I can review the individual hit compared to the text from the source. To help when reviewing the hits in the analysis, you have a set of tools available in the toolbar. For instance, in this case, the similarity between this text and this text is 91%. Finding those missing 9% could be a bit difficult using only your eyes. So, if you'll click on this crosshairs, we'll highlight this on the source side, indicating which words have been changed, which have been changed into synonyms, removed, added, and so forth. Another button that can help you is the one indicating where there are citations. If you click this, anything between quote marks will be highlighted purple. This will be more visible if we find another example like this, and you can then determine whether or not this is a correct quotation or if it's something else. Turning that off, we also have a button that will indicate where text within brackets or parentheses are present. This is usually used for annotations when it comes to academic work. If I click this, we'll see we get both. We get a number and we also get an explanation. And we also get in this case, a hyperlink. If I scroll up, we have more of these annotations. This will make it easier to determine whether or not there is actually a source for any given similarity. In this particular analysis, we also got 2 warnings, and warnings are something different from similarity in the Urkund interface. A warning is something that will trigger if there are peculiarities in the document. For instance, if the student has tried to mask the text and make plagiarism detection more difficult. In this case, we can actually see one of these warnings in the screen itself. What the student has done is replace the space with an X, make it white, and then submit the document. To the human eye, of course, we can't see the white X's, and we'll read the text as normal. To the computer, however, we will see a long word rather than several shorter ones next to each other. Since this particular word here won't exist anywhere else, it's going to be very difficult to any computer to make a similarity comparison or try to find the source. So instead of actually trying to do that, what we do is we highlight this as if it was misspelt, and leave it up to you to make the call whether or not the dividers between words should be spacebars or if they should be white X's. There's also another version in this document of the warnings, and we'll see that down here at the bottom. In this case, we have a number of characters marked clearly red, and to the naked eye, these looks like the regular O's and A's and R's and C's and so forth of the Western character set. What's actually happened here, though, is that the student has done a search and replace in the document, or this particular segment of text, and changed these characters for the Russian equivalents. They look the same, but they mean something completely different, thus breaking this text so a computer could never find similarities anywhere. We can export any analysis into PDF if we want to, and print that and give it to the student with instructions to change or explain. And we can also share this analysis with our colleagues or send it straight to the student if we want to let them have the analysis and contemplate its content. There's also a help button which will give you a view of the analysis with explanations next to them. There is an instruction available that will show you how you do if you should encounter a duplicate. That is not a deal breaker in Urkund. You simply just turn that off and move on with the sources you actually want to see. And there's also, at the end, a video clip that will show you the analysis in detail, basically what I've gone through here, but a bit further, and that is available in English. That concludes the demonstration of the analysis, and we'll now take a look at the web-based inbox. For the web-based inbox, we start at the Urkund website. We go to the login page, click on the login to the Urkund system, and then enter our username and password. When we do that, we hop straight into the web-based inbox for the particular account. In this case, I have a lot of documents been sent to me. They are clearly indicated with colors, how much we've found somewhere else. In case of warnings that we discussed earlier, there will be a small warning sign next to the percentage. We have the document number if we need to contact support in any situation, and we have the document name. In case of the black ones, that means they're not accessible through the archive. In the case of the blue ones, that means we can click here and download the original document. We also have other features such as the headline from the email when we submitted, number of words, weight of the document, who submitted and when. We have a browser functionality, not unlike the one you will find in Windows, where you can create folders and subfolders, and then supply a code, which is then communicated to the students. They enter it into the subject line of the email, and the document will be automatically sent into the correct folder. We can create new folders, and we can change settings for existing folders. One thing though, as you can see, there is a little Acropolis temple next to my analysis address here. That means that this is a teacher account. I also, at the bottom of this list, have another email address with a student hat next to it. This is a submitter account. As a teacher, I have both. I can create a submitter account as a student, I will not see the percentage scores, but I will see just about everything else. If you were to ever receive an account only displaying this hat, that means that you've got a student account, not a teacher account, and you should contact support. From this interface, I can access the individual report simply by clicking the color and the percentage. We'll open a new web browser window, just like the one we looked at before. In some cases, it is not possible to create an analysis for reasons unknown. This will be indicated by a small X in a circle and the absence of a color and a percentage. In this case, I suspect that this document has been submitted with too few characters. In order for us to make an analysis, we require at least 450 characters and 50 words. Should it be less, no analysis will be created, and an error message will be sent out to the submitter. The same goes, of course, for docx files and any other files that doesn't meet the criteria. This could also be the case for any document file type that is encrypted, passworded, or in any way blocks text extraction. For Urkund to do his job, we need to be able to get to the content of the document. An extra functionality available through the web-based inbox is the ability to upload documents. If you click here, you get an interface where you can basically send us an email from this website. Select the analysis address or enter it. Type in a subject, message if you need to, and then drop files into this field. You can also simply click here and browse your computer to find the files you require. When you've done so, you click submit and the documents are sent on to us. They will immediately end up in your web-based inbox. The analysis might take a few minutes, but it'll be there eventually. And this concludes the presentation of the web-based inbox. There's also a fourth way of submitting documents to Urkund, and that's through one of our many integrations. And James has got a few words on one of them.
An example of one of our many integrations is the one that has been built for Moodle. Here I am logged in to Moodle. So I go to my course, I click to turn on editing, I add an activity or resource, I'll choose an assignment. The steps are the same for forums and workshops. I shall give the assignment a name. When creating the new assignment, give it a name, description, and other such things one would normally do in a standard normal Moodle assignment. The Urkund plugin has been installed, so you choose whether to have plagiarism detection on or not. You can choose whether to share the score with the student. You can choose whether to share the report with the student. You put in your receiver address. You can choose to inform the student when it is ready. You can choose which file types you want to support. And then you save and display as you would do with a standard Moodle assignment. When the assignment has been created, you can click and see your class as normal. Here is one that I prepared earlier. By clicking on the course, you see all your students, you see which ones have submitted, which ones have not. You can give it a grade, and here you have the link to our report. Pressing this will take you to the report, and this is the only time that you leave Moodle. Thank you very much for watching our video. We hope to hear from you soon.